Yo, what's up guys, it's Alex Rome, and sorry I haven't made a video in a while. I've been moving into a new place, as you can see around me, and yeah, I didn't really have a place to shoot any videos, but we're almost settled in. I'm gonna move into another area to build the studio because the acoustics in this room suck, and I don't want to keep my studio in here, and that's like a really big deal to me. So we're going to move downstairs in a little while when the basement of this area is cleaned out. But in the meantime, we're going to be making videos. We're going to be pumping them out. So today's video, I wanted to talk about cheesy melodies and how to fix those. And this question came in from one of my students named Eddie, who I've been teaching for a little while now. He said that he was working on chord progressions. And while he likes the chord progressions that he comes up with melodies that, as he listens to them, they get cheesier and cheesier sounding, which is a very, very common thing for beginner producers. That cheesy melody issue, it's very hard to get past. But I'm gonna teach you little things that you could do to your melodies to make them less cheesy, and little things that you could do during your practice to not have a melody come off as cheesy, or to not have a melody come off as cheesy to you. Because a lot of that is just, you're probably over listening to your melody and you're getting bored of it. And when you're bored of a melody, you can criticize the hell out of it. So I have a little melody here that I made. This is a project me and Baywood were working on. And I don't know, I think young Baywood fell asleep behind the wheel on this one because he never finished it. And this is like a 2-month-old project. Oh, that's not it. Melody comes in right about here. Right there, and that was like a nice little melody. And then we had another melody coming right here. I was talking about the vocal chops here, and we'll talk about them in a second, but I had another melody coming here. So the main thing with making a melody not so cheesy is to make it different all the way through. I like to think of making an electronic melody like you're pretty much replacing where a vocal would be if this was a traditional song or just any song with vocals. So if a singer were to be singing on this, would they be singing the same 3 notes over and over? Sometimes, but you know, you have to be in a certain genre, in a certain song. Everything's got to come together pretty perfectly for that to be fun to listen to, the same 3 notes for 16 bars. So what I like to do with melodies is I like to break my melodies into 2 halves. So there's the first half, and then there's the second half of the melody. Both halves can sound very similar, but what you ultimately do is you try to change something in the second half or in the repeated loop and make it sound a little bit different. So let's come here. This is this vocal chop I was working on. Vocal chop took me quite a little bit to get to sound like this. But here's what the vocal chop itself sounds like. So right there's the main melody right there. So what I had to do is I copied and pasted it to come right here. But I couldn't make the second half of this melody do the same thing as the first half. Because if it did, then it would be very cheesy and repetitive, and beginners do that. Like just that right there. They spend all of their creative mind building this melody, and it takes them however long, and then they listen to it and they just love it, and then they run that melody throughout the rest of the song, and now they have this cheesy, boring sound because the melody never changes. So what we do is we alter some notes. So let's listen to the first half again, and then let's listen to where the melody changes in the second half. So let's listen to the second half. It's going to sound the same for the first part of it, like right here, and then it's going to change right here. Watch. See how it closes there? So these are different. And these are different. Right there. So I changed the end of the melody right there and right there, and that's what creates this differentiation. And so one way that you can practice doing this, and a way you can actually hear it in real life, is go listen to a Marshmello song, because those melodies are super simple to hear. And I want you to notice something. This is the exact, like, this technique I could have taken exactly from a Marshmello song. Listen to the first half of his melodies and pay attention to the notes in, like, the second half of the first half, like right here. Or in other words, break his melodies into 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I notice in his melodies, a lot of the times, this part won't match this part, and this part will be kind of like the closing to the melody. So that's like another way that I like to put it. Always close your melody. If your melody doesn't close, if it's left open, aka not changed back here, well then it's going to be cheesy and boring. So that's how I like to teach people to make less cheesy melodies. And another thing, how to not get bored of your melody, is don't make your melody and listen to it a million times. Make your melody and then set it to the side and build other parts of your track so that, you know, by the first drop, you're not bored of the melody and bored of the project and racking your brain because you hate life and your beautiful project is now going to shit because you're bored of it. Woo! There you go, guys. I hope this little lesson here was valuable to you. If it was, like this video, subscribe, and hit me up for private coaching on my website if you're interested in that. I know a lot of shit about music. I love you. Peace out.